Hello and welcome everyone, it is me, the lover, also known as the Power to Duelist, back for you with another Morphtronic deck profile following the new support. This time we'll be taking a look at a heavily link-based build, trying to make good use of Telefon's ability to loop itself, which is why you could probably also call this Telefon Turbo. But we'll quickly run down the deck. I'll show you guys a sample combo, give you guys a few ideas on how this deck is supposed to play and function. And then in the end, I'll give you guys some closing thoughts. Starting off the main deck, 3 copies of Gadget Gamer here on normal summon. This guy will add you a level 1 machine from your deck to your hand, which is why we are maxing out on those, but preferably you want to be adding Telefon to get your link climbing going. And then you can also tribute this guy while face up on the field to special summon a Morphtronic from hand, and then special summon a Gadget Hauler from hand or deck, which is why we're playing this one Gadget Hauler as a kind of soft garnet. But yeah, Gadget Gamer is just a really nice normal summon for the deck. Gets you to Telefon, which is kind of neat. The Gadget Hauler is a Garnet. 3 Remotants. This is rather neat because you can, while in attack position, banish a Morphtronic from the grave to add one with the same level as the banished one from deck to hand. Also a big reason why we're playing a lot of these level 1s here, because you can then banish a level 1 to add Telefon. Just simple as that. Playing 3 Lantron because it's a level 1 tuner. You could probably also make room for Scopen here, especially if you want to like include more Synchros in the extra deck, but Lantron is here to be a tuner, so we can more easily go into Hulk, and also because it's level 1. Smartphone is here because Smartphone's great. Special summoning itself from the hand by banishing a Morphtronic from the graveyard is an insanely powerful effect. And while in attack position, you can roll a 6-sided die, reveal that many cards from the top of your deck, and then add an excavated Morphtronic card to your hand. The rest gets shuffled back. Just an incredibly powerful way to add extenders to your hand, like Convert Unit and Reaper Unit, and maybe even fish for some additional bodies if you need them. Then, the star of the show, Morphtronic Telefon, a level 1 tuner that while in attack position allows you to once per turn roll a 6-sided die. If you do, gain life points equal to the result times 100, and then you can special summon a Morphtronic monster from the grave whose level is equal to or lower than the result. Meaning, since a die does not have a 0, only a 1 as its lowest number, you will always be able to special summon a level 1 Morphtronic back from the graveyard with this attack position effect, which gives you the ability to have 1 Telefon on field, use that effect to summon back a Telefon from the grave, link off the Telefon you activated previously, and then the new Telefon on the field can activate its effect to bring back the Telefon you just linked away. And you just continue doing that until you have a big scary link board. While in defense position, once per turn, you can roll a 6-sided die, excavate cards from the top of your deck equal to the result, and then Foolish Burial an excavated Morphtronic card. The rest gets either topped or bottomed in any order. Cellphone's still here, because Cellphone's great. Once per turn, being able to roll a 6-sided die while in attack position to reveal cards from the top of your deck equal to the die roll, and then special summon a level 4 or lower Morphtronic monster from those, ignoring summoning conditions, meaning this also enables you to summon a Smartphone, but in many cases you're just trying to reveal a tuner, preferably Telefon, to make Hulk of Fibrax and then just go off, I guess. Vacuum also here because it's level 1, also in defense position. This is kind of neat removal because it can equip a face-up attack position monster the opponent controls to itself as an equip card, which is kind of nice. Codebreaker 0 Day here, because we're playing the Codebreaker package. I have to give a shout out to Terios here. He was playing the Link variant before this support came out, and I saw a Codebreaker 0 Day in one of his hands in a replay, and I was like, okay, yeah, maybe give this a shot. And on all honesty, basically just getting like Link 6 worths of free Link material of like a Link to you calling to your Appaloosa is kind of crazy. 1-for-1 here to find Telefon and other level 1s you might need. Junk Box to special summon a level 4 or Morphtronic from the grave for some extension. Machine duplication, I guess, is still a no-brainer. You do play an awful lot more targets in this, because, yeah, Remoten's 1, Lantron is 1, and yeah, you technically play 4 targets, so like this will in a lot of cases just be live and be free Link material. Foolish Burial, a Monster Reborn here is powerful 1-ups to not only set up the graveyard for Telefon, but also just be a generic extender. Also play Toward Legacy Succession for the same reason. 3 Convert Unit. This is an archetypal extender. You target a machine you control, and depending on the battle position, you do whatever it says. In attack, if you targeted an attack position monster, you special summon a Morphtronic with a different name from deck, and then the other target gets put on top of your deck. If it was in defense, you switch it to attack, and then special summon a level 4 lower machine from your hand. Just a very nice extender you can find off your smartphone. So yeah. Caught by the grave against hand traps, and then capping off the main deck's 3 repair units. This is a archetypal foolish premature burial for Morphtronics. You pitch a Morphtronic from your hand to grave, and then select a Morphtronic from grave to special summon it. Just a very neat extender. In terms of extra deck, I went all in on the links. You can definitely make room for some synchros if you want to, but I just went like all in on the links here. Playing an Underworld Goddess, just as a, you know, extra deck Dark Ruler. Firewall Dragon for turn 1 setups, access code for turn 2 OTKs, Appaloosa for turn 1 setups, talked about the code breakers here. Transcode also for your turn 1 setups, because you can code link this to your Trigate Wizard for an Omni Negate. A Nightmare package is in here for some added removal. Halco Fibrax is in here because this card's just kind of crazy. 2 Link Rebos. I think the second one is really neat to have, especially if you want to go for a co-link. And also just in general to have like easy ways to get like Telefons off the board. And an Armorage in here in case you need to link off a normal summon. For some like options you might want to consider. Mech Knight Crusader Avramax is just a big dude that can punch really hard. Boros Sword Dragon does the same. So like, you know, if you're not a fan of Access Code Talker, these two are also just big dudes that punch hard. Goki the Powerload Ogre is a tower you can potentially make since your code breakers are warriors. Platinum Gadget is just another good link to Extender, but currently gets overshadowed by Hulk. And IP Masquerader into Unicorn is also a silly and good piece of interaction you can put up. So that is also something to consider. Gizmek Naganaki finds like half your deck. So like if you can make the space for him, try him out. Whereafter, because you're running a lot of level 1s, is also a powerful option. Scannon is here just to get mentioned, because otherwise someone will bring him up in the comments. I think the card's mid at best, but run him if you want to. In all honesty, I cannot stop you because the effects are kind of decent. But please remember to run DDR alongside him, because that way you at least have one way to retrieve your banished Morphtronics. If you want to run some Suncross, Borderlord Savage Dragon is of course insanely powerful if you're already running a very expansive Link lineup. Power 2 Dragon can grab you some extenders, especially if you decide to run DDR in this. If you run the power tool, maybe consider like a Blackluster Soldier Link to maybe make that untargetable, which is kind of cool. And Naturia Beast, Earphone, and Formula Synchro are also cool Synchro options if you decide to include some. But with that, I'll quickly just swap over, show you guys a combo, and then we'll give some final thoughts. And just like that, here we are. Let's get right into it. Foolish Burial here for a Telefon from the deck, and normal summoning a Telefon to bring back this previously foolish Telefon. Making the Link Rebo here is very essential to remember, you know, link off spend Telefons to, you know, increase like the value you get off the ones you have on field. Using the one on field here, rolling a 6, really doesn't matter. We're going to bring back this Telefon, summoning Hulk, getting a remote out of the deck. Again, you know, going for those Telefon loops, making Appaloosa here, and then just continuing to loop those Telefons. Here is a point where you definitely would like an extender. Before that, you can basically work off those 2 Telefons as you saw. Going into the Codebreaker package here, summoning Zero Frame Day from the deck with the Virus Swordsman effect. This is very important zone placement. If you summon your Codebreakers under your Appaloosa back of the Virus Berserker, remember to put 0 Day in the middle monster zone and then the Virus Swordsman just in the leftmost or rightmost. But the Berserker should be directly under your Appaloosa. Because this way you are open for a Link 4 play with Berserker and 0 Day. Since this is simulating a turn 1 combo, I go for the Firewall here. Make the Trigate Wizard in the middle here under the Appaloosa. Start looping my Telefons again. Go into Trigate with the Virus Swordsman. Grab a Telefon here off the Convert unit. And summon back a smartphone. Grab an extender of the smartphone. Make a Cerberus, so I am able to make a Link 3, which will be Transcode Talker here. Or rather, before that, I go complete the U-Link just to flex on my opponent, I guess. Or just, I guess, flex in general. But you could also just, like, cut off at, you know, after I make the Cerberus and then just put a Transcode Talker here. Your board just gets 1 bounce weaker. But yeah, with, all that said, I guess, taking a quick look at this. This is, of course, very over the top. I just wanted to flex. You don't need to U-link your opponent. Like, if you can, go for it, especially if it's turn 1 and you do have the resources, because, like, locking off the extra monster zone for your opponent is an incredibly powerful thing to do. But in general, even if you are unable to do so on a turn 1 basis, you will find yourself with a 3 material Appaloosa, a live Omni Negate on your Trigate Wizard, and a bounce on your Firewall Dragon. In this case, I do have 2 bounces because the Firewall Dragon is calling to 2 monsters, but generally you will just have the 1 bounce because he's calling to the Trigate, and your Trigate Wizard is even targeting protected because he is calling to Transcode Talker. Kinda neat, but in general you do have a lot of options when it comes to links. So just, experiment a bit, maybe swap some ratios in the extra deck around and find like a link setup you like. But with that out of the way, I'll see you guys again with the deck list and give some final thoughts. And with that, we are back with the deck list. In general, I do have to say, the power output and also, the potential this deck offers is interesting and definitely on the higher end side. Telefon definitely gave this build, I guess, a very welcome power boost for the people who are very much, fans of this style of Morphtronics. Because the appeal is definitely there. Link monsters are a very powerful extra deck mechanic, offering you a solid toolbox of spot removal in, the nightmares, and even offering you some big bombs to drop on your opponent that are rather tough to deal with, like cards like Appaloosa, Access Code, Underworld Goddess, Firewall Dragon, and maybe even, stuff like a Magna Crusader Avermax or a Goki the Powerload Ogre down here. Even stuff like Link Kuribo or Armor Rush is kind of neat for some added protection for your boards. So there definitely is a lot offered. Even, if you go on to include stuff like Borreload Savage Dragon and some other powerful synchro tools, you can definitely craft this into a deck where you have a lot of options for your extra deck to make and are able to assemble those impressive boards rather easily. That said, but that is like a general, I guess, a general appeal I see in Morphtronics, that you are very flexible with your extra deck choices and can basically, play extra deck depending on what you would like your deck to do. On that note, this is definitely not my cup of tea. Yes, I do see the appeal, since you're able to take advantage of probably one of Yu-Gi-Oh's most powerful extra deck mechanics. But I do like my synchros. Like, I grew up on synchros. I'll probably, prefer a synchro variant any day of the week to this. Especially now that the equip variant has a very sick new boss to end on in Power Tool Braver Dragon. This guy's just kind of sick. Like, yes, you can make room in this for him. But in general, I'd rather, just make sure I play like something more like pure or like more along the lines of, Morphtronics, that makes this on the regular. But in general, yeah, I think this is cool. You're able to do some quite silly stuff, as you saw in that combo line. You definitely have the potential for some U-links. I'm still like kind of wrapping my head around how you maybe, Nibiru proof a combo by making Appaloosa early. But the thing is, you will lose out on a lot of value with your Telefons if you choose to do so. But yeah, overall, this is kind of neat. So yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on this? Are you maybe, people that play the Link variant? I do know a guy in my Discord that is a huge fan of Telefon just for, this reason alone. And, what are your thoughts on this in general? Please let me know down below. I'd be glad to hear that, because, talking about this deck is always fun. But yeah, with all that out of the way, thank you guys very much for watching. See you guys again next time. But until then, goodbye.